Hi everyone, it is Sylvan from Sylvan's Way, and today I am going to do another hashtag. Oh my gosh, because I love hashtags. I've found that I do a lot of hashtags on Saturday releases. So like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I do like deck reviews, and I try to do a review of a mass market and a review of an indie deck on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then on Saturdays, I have my hashtag. So this hashtag is actually going out to Simon at the Hermit's Cave. And he did a great hashtag called the deck that tag. So the deck that tag. So thank you, Simon, for putting this out. It was really a lot of fun putting together all of I love these hashtags. They make me go through my deck and really or all my decks and really think about, why do I have them? I get to look at them, like the ones that I don't see very often, all that kind of stuff. Because, you have a bunch of decks and you might have your ones that you're working with right now, but what about all the other ones? They need some love too. So these hashtags are great for doing that. So anyway, enough rambling. Let's get on to the actual decks. So the first one is number one is the deck that reflects who I used to be. And that deck is actually the Horror Tarot. And you might be wondering, well, why the Horror Tarot? So the reason for the Horror Tarot is because I used to watch a ton of scary movies. Like, there was nothing better than to sit around and watch a scary movie. When I lived in Florida, it was so stinking hot during the summer. I spent a lot of time inside, and I loved watching a scary movie. I was always looking for the next scary movie that would actually scare me, because after you've watched enough horror films, they don't really scare you as much as they used to, because you get older and you get like a little jaded toward them. So I used to love watching scary movies. Now, I still will occasionally watch a scary movie, but I don't really watch a lot of TV anymore. So since I've moved to North Carolina, I'm very busy outdoors doing things. Plus, Tarot Tube takes up a lot of my time. I find that I'm constantly studying a new deck, etc. So my life is completely different in the last 2 years than it used to be when I was in Florida. But when I lived in Florida, I watched a lot of scary movies, and I also would have friends come over and we would have scary movie night. So we would order a pizza and eat popcorn and watch sometimes 2, maybe 3 scary movies at a time. So that is a deck that reflects who I used to be, and that is the Horror Tarot, because I used to love watching scary movies. Okay, prompt number two. Prompt number 2 is a deck that surprised me the most. Well, I wouldn't say that it surprised me the most, but it really did surprise me, and that is the Relative Tarot. And I had gotten this tarot because I was actually really starting to become interested in learning about my ancestry, because I know who my mom is, but I don't know who my bio dad is. So I have a lot of questions about my ancestry and my history, and my mom refuses to tell me anything about my bio dad for whatever reason. And so I'm kind of left in the dark in that area. So I got this Relative Tarot. And what surprised me the most about it is the guidebook doesn't actually tell you anything about the cards themselves. The guidebook actually shows you how to calculate your birth card. And I was, like, for a time, really fascinated about calculating my birth card and calculating my year card, which changes every year, using the calculations in this deck. And what surprised me is I really enjoyed doing that. I enjoyed doing it so much that I actually was calling up or texting my friends saying, give me your birth date. What's your birth date? Include the year. Then I would do calculations for them and then send them all the information. I would take a picture of the card and then send them all the information. So I was really into doing it for like about 2 months. I did this to a bunch of people where I was like, give me your whole birthday. I would have people come over to visit and I would pull this deck out and go, oh, let's calculate your birth card and let's calculate your year card. So it really surprised me how much I enjoyed doing that and how much fun and how many times people would actually say to me, oh, that is so meaningful. Oh my gosh, it's spot on. It's kind of like learning your zodiac sign and all of the things that are about your zodiac kind of happened with the same calculating your birth card, etc. If you're wondering, my birth card and my current year card are both the Chariot. So even my shadow is the Chariot. Everything about me is the Chariot, which I was a little disappointed about because I wanted to be more mysterious, like make me the moon or make me the Empress or make me, something. But no, I'm the Chariot. I'm a steady forward, taking the world by the reins and guiding and making my own destiny with the Chariot. So anyway, so that is the Relative Tarot, and that is the deck that surprised me the most. And I'm, like I said, I wouldn't say the most. I mean, there's other ones that have surprised me too, but I had a lot of fun with that particular deck. Okay, so number 3, the deck that intimidates me. And honestly, I have a ton of decks on my shelf that intimidate me. And they're basically any deck that doesn't follow the normal Rider-Waite-Smith. If it's a deck that I can't immediately open up and know the meanings of the cards, because it follows Rider-Waite-Smith, then I do find it a little intimidating, where then I have to get out the guidebook and do a lot of research and read and feel like I'm actually learning a new system. Like I could have pulled out even like the Witch's Wisdom Tarot that I'm currently doing as a deck study with Lisa Pepez, because even that has been like, oh my God, not normal. It does not follow your normal. So, but I decided to show the Zerner and Farber, because I find it absolutely gorgeous. So that's the other thing that happens, is I find a deck to be so beautiful, and so I end up getting the deck. But then when I get it, I become intimidated because it doesn't follow the normal Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. But this is such a gorgeous deck. And like I said, I could have pulled out 10 different decks and showed because if they don't follow the normal, then I get a little intimidated. But this is gorgeous, isn't it? It's such a pretty deck. From what I understand, this is cloth, like where she made like things out of cloth and put it together and then took pictures of it. I don't know a lot about it because I haven't done a dive into it yet, because I find it intimidating. So that is my deck that intimidates me, the Zerner Farber Tarot. Okay, so what is not intimidating? What do I go to for pure comfort? I go to my Lunalapin pin deck. I probably don't say it correctly, but any of my animal type decks, anything that's cute and fuzzy that makes me feel warm and fuzzy, I find those decks to be very comforting, and I go to them especially when I need a good hug. So I would say this is a hug deck, because these little bunny rabbits are just the sweetest and just the cutest. And so this is a Rider-Waite-Smith themed like deck, because all of the images follow the original Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. So every single one of them, I can look at it immediately, so I'm not intimidated by it at all. But then when you add these little anthropomorphic typed bunny rabbits to it, it's just so comforting. Such a cute, such a sweet deck. Just everything about it. I just find it to be very comforting, and I really enjoy it. And like I said, any of my little decks that have the Rider-Waite-Smith base, but with little animals, I find them to be comforting. So when I need a little hug, this is one of my comfort decks. So, okay, so that is the Lunalapin deck. Okay, the next one is the number 5, the deck that gives me the best readings. And this deck right here, the Serpent and the Peacock Tarot, this gives me such great readings. I actually leave this deck out on my coffee table in the living room, and I go to it every once in a while, and I just have a conversation with this deck. This is more of my, it gives me great readings, and it's more of a conversational deck. If I have like a question, just like where I want, like when I say a conversation, this is something I learned from Lisa Pepez as well, is I'll go and I'll ask a question and pull a card and then shuffle more, and then from that card, ask another question. So it's having a conversation with my deck, and it's such a fun deck. It's so easy to shuffle. It's so comfortable. It's such a good size in my hand. And then it has the meanings on the cards, so I don't have to go pull out the guidebook and get information. It's just such good readings, and it's so easy to read, and you know, everything about it is comfortable, and like the images are super fun. They're super interesting, the images that are on them, even though I would say that this is not quite, I mean, they tried with the images to do kind of a Rider-Waite-Smith kind of, you know, theme. I mean, the meanings on the bottom of the cards are definitely Rider-Waite-Smith, but do the images like the Hangman, see, like that's pretty close. But I don't have to go from memory, looking at the image and then from memory, because it has the write-up on the bottom of it. It's also a really great deck to leave on your table for other people. Like, this is my, hey, I've got friends that come over and they see a tarot deck and they want to open it up and look at it, and maybe they want to do a reading themselves for themselves while they're sitting there. So this is a great deck for that too. So yeah, I think I get great readings with this, and it's just really just super easy to use for me. I really like it. The Serpent and the Peacock Tarot. And the next question, number 6, is a deck that is too pretty to use, but I still love it. On the same vein, from the same makers, is the Tarot of Paul's Moon. So this is one of my expensive keepsake collection kind of decks. If I could actually get it and bring it over here, is my Tarot of Paul's Moon. So I have this up on a shelf, and I don't really bring it out, and unless I want to look at it or show it to somebody or include it in one of my videos like I'm doing right now. It's just such a beautiful deck, such a well-made deck. I want to keep it in pristine condition, so I don't really use it or read with it, because I have my Serpent and the Peacock, which gives me the same images, but it's got a cardstock that's just so much easier to handle. So this is my collection deck, and it is it's too pretty to use, but I still love it. And that's my Tarot of the Paul's Moon. I wonder if if this is your deck too, that's kind of like that. You have collection decks that you get that you just look at. You have just to look at? Yeah. If you do, tell me which ones they are. Put it below. Which decks do you have that are too pretty to use? I'm very curious. I'm definitely going to be going through and watching this video that other people have done, so I could see theirs. So anyway, that is the Tarot of Paul's Moon. And number 7, the deck that made me fall in love with tarot again. So that would be my Crow Tarot. And I'm just going to show you the pocket edition so that I don't have to pull my full size out of the bag and all that kind of stuff. It's downstairs, so I'm just going to show you the pocket edition version of it. But yeah, when I first started reading tarot, when I started getting really into it and learning about it, I was really intimidated because I was like, oh my gosh, it's so much to memorize. It's so much. It's so much. And I picked it up and put it down. I would get a deck and I would put it down. And I would buy a new deck, 6 months, a year, 2 years later, and I would put it down. And that kept happening over and over through years of my life where I would stop and start learning tarot. And then I got the Crow Tarot. And I don't know what happened. I loved this deck so much that I just really got into tarot. And I have not put it down since I fell in love with this deck. So this is not my first deck, but it's definitely the deck that made me stay with tarot. After having really great readings with this deck and loving the artwork and never being bored with the artwork, this is definitely my favorite, all-time favorite, hands down, favorite deck that made me fall in love with the tarot. And I wouldn't say again, it made me fall in love with the tarot, period, and stop. So I know I've brought it up multiple times and a lot of people have seen it, but that is the answer to that question. Okay. Need to take a little drink. I've got some tea here. Okay. So number 8, the deck that I wished more people actually talked about. And for me, that is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. I don't know why more people don't bring this tarot up and more people don't use it. Because honestly, it follows the Rider-Waite-Smith kind of imagery. And it's so, well, not the imagery, because the images are definitely different. But when you think about the meaning of that Rider-Waite-Smith card, in comparison to the card that was shown or created in this deck, it just 100% correlates. And it is so relevant to today. And the artwork is a beautiful. Now, granted, the cards are big. Look, it's my entire hand. So the cards are a little big. Maybe that's why people don't use it as much, because the cards are ridiculously huge. The creator, Red Feather, of this deck, they really should put out a pocket version of this deck, and I bet you anything people would go crazy for it, because it is so relevant. The images are so beautiful. I love the dark background with this like chalk-like drawings over the top of it. But I mean, like, seriously, look at Justice here, the way she's got one hand down, one hand up, and there's a car accident back here. There's hornets over their heads. The dove is the peace person that is making the I mean, just everything about these cards are just so intuitive for me that it doesn't have to be Rider-Waite-Smith. It doesn't have to be exactly like it, because they are just so I can't even say it enough. It's so intuitive. And I don't know why more people don't use this deck or talk about this deck more, because it is absolutely beautiful. I love, like I said, the images on the dark background. It is diverse. Not only is it diverse in skin tone, but it's diverse in age ranges. It's diverse in being very modern and like, it just really speaks to current times. I mean, is very relatable. Ooh, that's the word I was looking for. I mean, look at this. Look at this. Seriously, like this is what's going on right now today. How is this not? Look at her. This was me a couple weeks ago at a protest. This is so relevant to today. And I just, you know, I just don't know why no more people don't talk about it, because it is one of the best modern decks out there. Like seriously, I love it. So that is the deck that I wish more people talked about. It is the Everyday Enchantment Tarot. Okay. So just wish the size was smaller. Make a smaller size. Okay. So number, what are we at? Number 9. Number 9. Okay, so the deck that feels like a secret between us. And for me, that is the Compos Mentos Tarot. This deck right here. And this is because there is just something evocative about this artwork of this deck that feels like I am having a private conversation with this deck. It's just between us. It's almost like this deck whispers to me. I don't know if it's because it is photography. I don't know if it's because it's real people. I don't know if it's because it's the black and white. But there is something about this deck that does feel like we have a secret conversation when we talk. And I feel like it's whispering the secrets of the universe almost to me. And it's such a meaningful deck for me. And it really, really feels like a special deck to me. And I absolutely love this deck. So this is the deck that feels like a secret between us because it feels like it is whispering to me with its images. Compos Mentos Tarot. Okay. So, number 10, the deck that defines my practice right now. And I would say that is this one. I don't know how to pronounce it. Allcento Tarot. And the reason that I chose this, mostly because I have not used this deck yet, but I feel like it really defines my practice because, one, it's a newer deck and I've been really buying a lot of decks recently. So I have to stop. My husband is going to kick me out of the house if I get many more decks that come in. So that is one that defines my practice right now. But the part of this is this right here. Look at these special cards. So right now I have really been into deep diving into decks that have special meanings, special history, that kind of thing. And since this deck includes all of these extra cards that normally don't come in on a deck, because like it's got all of these different cards for different astrology cards that used to come with tarot decks that no longer come with tarot decks. I just kind of feel like that defines kind of like me at this point in my life, because I'm being very analytical, very much in the brain, very left brain focus where it's very thoughtful, and I'm learning and I'm studying and I'm growing. And so I feel like this deck really, even though it's very cartoonish and has a lot of these bright colors and stuff, I feel because it has all of those extra specialized cards in it, it kind of defines my practice because I'm so left-brained right now and really studying and learning about the tarot and different tarot systems. And I'm really into diving deep into tarot right now. And I feel like this deck asks you to dive deep because of all the extra special cards that come with it. So that is the deck that defines my tarot practice right now. Okay, so number 11. So 11. Oh, what? Oh, wait, 10, 11. There we go. So my deck number 11, the deck that pulls me out of a rut. And that is the Sassy Dragons. Yeah, that's right, the Sassy Dragons. Anytime I'm pissed off or I'm upset, I can do a reading with my Sassy Dragons, and its feistiness and its cute little dragons and everything about it makes me come out of that rut. So if I'm pissed off, this deck is pissed off with me, and it will tell it like it is. And if I'm sad and well, actually not sad, but like not feeling motivated, like in a rut, this deck, it comes out and it gives me a good old kick in the ass. I mean, that is the only way to describe it, is that it gets me out of that rut. So if I'm pissed off, it's pissed off with me. If I'm in a rut and I don't want to do anything and I need some motivation, this comes out and it kicks me in the ass. So this is just such a stinking great deck. It's fabulous. So that is my deck that pulls me out of a rut. Sassy Dragons. Okay, for the very last one, number 12. The deck that waits patiently. And I actually have quite a few decks I could have pulled out for this prompt. But for this one, I will say the Forger's Daughter Tarot. I got the deck. I actually got not only the deck, but I also got a, you know how she sells some of them that are misprints that are kind of like cut lopsided, cut weird, whatever. I got a copy of that, as well as the guidebook, because I intend to do a deep dive on this, and I wanted to keep my original pristine, and I want to use the misprint one to use for learning the deck and even possibly writing on the deck. And so I don't like to write on an $80 deck. I would rather write on a $20 deck if I'm going to write on a deck. But I want to do a deep dive. And so this deck sits to the side up on the shelf and patiently looks at me. Like, I do feel like it's looking at me. And it's like, okay, Sylvan, when are you going to do a deep dive on me? You bought two versions of me. You bought the bag. You bought the cloth, the tablecloth, the reading cloth, and you bought the guide so that you could do a deep dive. And you haven't done it yet. So this deck, even though a little sassy, does sit and patiently wait for me to learn it and start using it. It's not only this deck, but there's a couple of decks, like I said, that I could have pulled out that I've done the same thing with. I have a backup of decks that I want to go through. And if Lisa Pepez would stop having such great decks that she chooses to do deck studies on, maybe I would get to one of these special ones, because I can't seem to mentally do two deck studies at one time. And her deck studies are like 2 months long. So I'm waiting for her to have a deck study on a deck that I'm not interested in. And then I will finally do a deck study on this deck. So this is the deck that waits patiently for me and says, hey, you got all this special stuff to do a deck study on me, but you still have not touched me, is the Forger's Daughter Tarot. So that is number 12. And that is all of my decks for this hashtag the deck that tag by Simon at the Hermit's Cave. I had so much fun with this. I really appreciate it when people put out fantastic tags for me to do. I really do enjoy it. Until next time, hit like, hit subscribe, leave a little comment below. Let me know if you've done this tag so I can go watch your video. Of course, I watch a lot of YouTube videos. So I like to support my fellow YouTubers by watching their videos and putting a comment and hitting like on them. So to give them that watch time, the like, and then the comment, because that really helps other ones. So do that for me too. I would really appreciate it. So hit like, hit subscribe, and leave a comment. Until next time, I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Bye.